There are so many people that were asking us, how much is our monthly budget? And today we are going to talk our real budget, not the Instagram kind of budget, but the real life budget.
You mean we're going to fess up and tell the real numbers?
Yes, are you ready?
We've told people what a $2,000 per month budget in the Philippines looks like. We've told them what the $2,900 budget looks like. We've told them the $3,900 budget. We're spending more than that, Chrissy, and we're going to lay it out here in real dollars and cents right now.
You know, I remember the last budget video that we made was like 2 years ago, and I see the difference
There's a big
from
difference.
2 years ago and now that we have a full Pacto family. Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Fly Me to the Philippines.
We're back on the patio, Chrissy. It's been like 8, 9 videos, maybe 2 months since we've been up here on the patio.
Yeah, I miss this place.
This is our suburban rental property in the uptown area of Cagayan de Oro. Cagayan de Oro is on the very north central part of the island of Mindanao, which is the second largest island, the southernmost large island in the Philippines. And we're in a guard-gated subdivision. We're gonna go through our budget line item by line item, and you'll get to see what our real budget is, not a hypothetical budget, not what you could do. You've seen our lifestyle. We share a lot, right? We do share a lot, don't we,
Yeah,
Chrissy?
we share a lot about the things that we get into our life, our family, the car, and everything. And just a little disclaimer, I think the budget will differ on what place you're gonna live. You're gonna reside in the Philippines, how many families you are interested to move in, and you know, what kind of housing, rental house you're gonna get here in the Philippines, I guess. So this is our lifestyle. So this is our budget. So I know it's very controversy and we will get a lot of feedback.
I want to make something crystal clear, Chrissy. Unlike a lot of situations, we have a unique situation. Chrissy does these social media background investigations, and she has created a nice little business for herself. And that creates an opportunity in addition to just the YouTube that we do together. So unlike a lot of men, you're going to come here with your pension to make your money go farther. And we've given sample budgets, and other vloggers have done sample budgets, but you've watched our lifestyle. Chrissy, they get to see our lifestyle. And we've given some particulars, but we never gave the whole picture.
Yeah. I think the very important thing is that you should adjust your lifestyle based on the capacity of your budget. I'm just going to share it with you. When Rob was doing the budget this morning for us to share with you guys, I was like looking at the budget, like it was so big. It was a lot. But then when we liquidated to where it goes, I was like, I think it's all worth it.
It's all worth it. So here we go. Let's just start. Your number one cost savings in the Philippines is housing. It is so much less expensive. And we're overlooking the Cagayan de Oro River in this beautiful subdivision. Right now it's 70 degrees at 7 a.m. in the morning. And we pay, initially, we paid 50,000 pesos a month for this 4-bedroom, 4-bath rental property. It has 2 living rooms, 4 bedrooms, 4 baths. And they asked 55 and we negotiated 50, but there's a 5% per year escalation clause, and we're started our 3rd year in this property. So now we're up to 55,000. And Chrissy, that comes to $932 a month. Now we're using 59 pesos to the dollar. By the time you transfer your money, you're probably not going to quite get the 59, but we actually pay our rent based on the Google US dollar index through Zelle. Our landlord actually lives in America. So we do pay the 932. Some of you will pay a little bit more. You might pay 57, 58 pesos to the dollar after a currency conversion.
Yeah, the question is 55,000 pesos a month worth it with this house?
need quiet. And as we've told you, we live next to this gorgeous cemetery where we can go walking. It's really
Gorgeous
large, maybe
view.
like 10-hectare cemetery, and the view on the river. We live next to a lot of dead people, and they make really good neighbors, Chrissy.
Yes, and the house is big enough for the family we welcomed in. And also our landlord is very kind, which is
Yes.
worth it.
We're really lucky, and we want to stay here as long as he'll let us. We could, now that we have the mountain property, theoretically, we could have a less expensive property here because we do spend a lot of time in the mountain.
Yeah.
And just as a point, we're going to tell you what our mountain expenses are and our construction expenses on a monthly basis too, so stick around for that. Okay, so Chrissy, we have the rent, $932. Then we have electricity, which, you know, when we were living alone, it was running 6,000 pesos per month, maybe $110 per month back then. Now that we have a full house.
Yeah, we use a lot of the dryer.
The dryer, the clothing
laundry,
dryer is running twice a day. That's probably $1 per load. But we run around 10,000 pesos per month. We run one air conditioner in the master bedroom, maybe 10 hours a day overnight. We put it at about 78, 80 degrees. And we dehumidify more than cool. The rest of the house we don't air condition. We don't, in the main room, the big living room, we don't air condition. So that's about 10,000 pesos per month. And then Chrissy, we have our water bill. I don't know why, but it used to be like $10 a month, but now it's 20.
Yeah,
now
I
it's
think
17.
a lot of people using the water,
Maybe all the
taking
laundry.
the shower. And I really believe that once the electricity and the water will come up, it can hardly go down anymore. You know?
Let's tell everybody what our load is in terms of family members and who's living here.
Okay.
So initially when we moved in 2 years ago, January 15th, a little over 2 years ago, it was just you and me.
Yes.
And we had our baseline expenses. So we trialed your son, CJ, who was 5,
Yes.
almost 5 back then. He would come alone for 6 days and we would experience taking care of him. And then your father and his wife would come another month, and we found that to be a better setup where we had a family member to help, and we enjoyed having the help, and the house was huge. We moved here for the quiet more than anything else. So the first change was we had your son CJ, who was, he turned 5, he moved in. Right?
Yeah.
And then we had your father and his wife move in, and they assumed what a caretaker would, or housekeeper, nanny.
Yes.
They have a tricycle, so we pay for maintenance on the tricycle. It's very low, gas and maintenance. Popsy drives, he cleans, he takes care of all the plants, he helps with security. Liza does laundry, she's the nanny, she's cooking. We do the shopping, but otherwise they do everything.
And,
so, yes.
Yeah, and it's a very big help for us since we both work, you know, so because if you're the only one that is working, I think I can do the, you know, taking care of the kid and the house and all that. But because we both work, it's a big help.
Yeah, and initially we were making like 5 videos a week.
Yeah.
And we were working like 50, 60 to launch YouTube our first year. We really worked. We don't work as much now, but we do consulting and writing books and other. We have a lot of people we're meeting, so we're busy. But anyway, we're working. So that means we have 5 souls in the house starting like April last year, right? And then a big change happened in April of this year. We invited Chrissy's mother and her.
Not this year.
This year. Oh, last. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. It was 2026. So April 2026. Roughly 1 year, we lived with 5 people in the house, and we got married, and we had 30 some odd people sleeping in the house that night. But full time, we had 5 souls. No pets allowed in the house, so we didn't have to worry about that. And then April of 2025, we invited your half-sister, who was 7 then, to move in. We didn't want to raise an only child, and I didn't like the pressure of having to make another baby, so we got another child that way. But your mother and stepfather had to move in also because the house wasn't, we hadn't broken ground in the mountain.
Yeah.
And your brother, who was 19 back then, came as part of a package deal.
Yeah, because he's still a member of the one that is not yet married, so technically he is still under the care of
your
my
mother.
parents.
Yeah. So we got 4 more souls. So we went from 5 to 9. And also, Chrissy, right at the same time, we had introduced your 3-year younger sister, Mimi, to an American consulting client of ours, and they hit it off. And he came to Manila and convinced her to quit her job of 8 years. She was working overnight in a frozen food factory for 8 years, like in prison, 6 days a week. And she quit her job, and she would stay here for 1 month. And he was, for the first 6 months, he was back and forth every other month. So when she was here, we had 10 souls living in the house. We were buying groceries for everything. So, but what happened is about 3 months ago, we got far enough along with the mountain construction that Uncle James and Mom Z moved up to the mountain.
Yeah.
And now our lifestyle is one where on Friday afternoon, usually Precious will get picked up to go to the mountain, or Popsy and Liza and CJ will join Precious and go and spend the night in the mountain. Last Friday night, we had the whole house to ourselves. So we have as many as 9 sleeping in the house. If they come down, they'll come down to visit one night a week to see their daughter. But typically we have 6, including your brother.
The building of a house in the mountain is also affecting the number of the family members that we have welcomed here, because we need somebody to work in the mountain, and comes with that is the family of the person that is going to be working there, which is my mom and my sister.
Right. Your sister Mimi, her boyfriend, purchased a house 6 houses away in this very subdivision, and so she doesn't live here anymore, and she's very helpful when it comes to family members and another Westerner is in the picture, and he's extremely generous, and so it's been a nice relief. And there are a few other family members left behind back home that your sister kind of looks after, because we're taking care of so many here. So we have 6 full-time eating out of our kitchen, 6 full-time laundry here. Your parents actually still come down and do laundry once a week from the mountain. That's our general load of lifestyle. So let's get back to the budget. We have one item on the budget, 50,000 pesos a month. For the next 10 months, our Raptor, our 2019 Ford Raptor.
Thank God it's only 10 months.
We bought a 2019 Ford Raptor for 700,000 pesos, 100,000 pesos down, 12 months of 50,000 pesos a month. Deal of a lifetime, 35,000 miles on the vehicle. That's a one-time expense that will last 10 months. So keep that in mind. It's not going to be, well, we're going to add that into the end number. Okay, back to the basic utilities. Our water bill is running about $17 US a month, 1,000 pesos. We spend about the same amount on bottled water. It takes about 10 20-liter bottles every week. And we have internet. Now, Chrissy, we use PLDT. We're not crazy about the level of service. We pay for high speed, 3,000 pesos a month. At 2,000, we'll get your regular speed. I don't know that we get high speed.
Not very satisfactory, but good enough
We've
for our
tried
business.
to switch a couple times. There have been some outages where there's been an accident and somebody knocked over a distribution system. Now, the subtotal for housing and utilities, Chrissy, is 70,000 pesos per month, $1,186. I gotta tell you, Chrissy, what do you think of all our expat friends, what is the typical housing expense they have?
For just the house?
Yeah,
I think,
just the rent for the house.
we had a friend that he rented the house for 20,000 pesos a month.
So you can go into some of these guard-gated subdivisions and get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. You won't have much lot line between your neighbors, but it'll be a nice house in a nice guard-gated subdivision. You can get it furnished even for 25,000 pesos a month. 30,000, you're going to get it slightly nicer. At 35,000, you're going to get a little bit of space. At 45,000, you're going to get a premium guard-gated subdivision. But, you know, the challenge is to find something quiet.
Like you always say, location, location, location.
Oh, my God, in real estate. Let's see what else we got now, Chrissy. Food and transportation, okay? Chrissy, this is really, people are going to have their hair catch on fire.
I know. I'm just going to share about the groceries. When we lived together as just the two of us, and we went to SNR, and we spent 25,000 pesos for groceries. We were crazy that time. I feel like, oh my God, this is like a 1 month pay for a teacher, for the grocery. And I thought that time, you're crazy about the grocery.
Yes.
But now you're crazier.
Well, so when we first got here, I would go to SNR is like the Costco of the Philippines, or Landers is like a Costco. And I needed my cheese, and I needed kind of Western things, and I didn't trust any seafood that didn't come frozen from like SNR. And we would just buy comfort items for my Western mindset. I've gotten away from that now, but what's taken place is we're spending, Chrissy, 50,000 pesos a month on groceries.
Yeah.
It is crazy. When we had 9 and 10 people in the house, they don't make much money. That the cash that they get as a month, it's crazy. We're going to cover that in a minute. But they eat well, and even up in the mountain, we have to buy food for the workers who don't make much money. So we buy a lot of protein. When we go to the grocery store, we'll buy 10, 11, 12 types of portions of protein.
Yeah, I think it is because if you're gonna think about it, we feel like we're buying groceries for 3 families. The basic family, which is us and my son and Precious. The second one is my father and his partner, and the third one is the family in the mountains.
Right.
So
and we've got your brother, and we now have 4 dogs. So there's a lot of consumption going on.
I think it's like 4 families together with the dogs. So there's a lot of that.
So we go to we have a Gaizanos that was built last year. It is amazing. It's very low cost, and it's very new, and it's only like 5 minutes away. We're spending about 10,000 pesos a week on groceries there.
Yeah.
And we give additional grocery money for the men in the mountains. So I've got, and we go to SNR once a month, and we do spend 15, 20,000. So it could be slightly more than 50,000 on groceries. I put in here $169 a month for restaurants, $50 a week, not even. We went to KL Clubhouse with friends, and I think our bill came to like $1,400, maybe $25, 20 with no alcohol, but $22, $25 for a dinner out. So we'll do that twice a week on average, maybe. So we don't eat out much. We don't. And I eat a kind of a keto diet, so eating out's always a challenge for me.
And I started to cook in at home. So.
Yeah. So, but most of the food is for the family members. To be honest with you, Chrissy doesn't eat that much. Okay, so we have groceries $50,000, $847. Restaurants $10,000, $169. Gas for the vehicles $127 a month. Now we have a bongo truck, Chrissy. How reliable is that bongo truck?
For a city drive, it's reliable. But since we use it in the mountain, there's a lot of maintenance.
We have to. So we had a bongo truck. It didn't use much gas, a diesel bongo truck, and we have the tricycle. The tricycle would take about. It burns gas. It burns about $20 worth of gas a month. With the bongo truck would burn about $50 a month. We don't. So Popsy drives the bongo truck now and the tricycle. He has 2 vehicles now. The tricycle he owns, and I pay for maintenance and gas. He uses the bongo truck now to take the kids to school whenever it's heavy rain, or if he has to go get water. And we bought the Raptor, and the Raptor uses I don't know, maybe $35 worth of gas a week or something, because we're up and back to the mountain. It's about $5 worth of gas to go to the mountain and back. But I have it as, for gas, 7,500 pesos, $127 a month for gasoline.
It could be a little bit more if we're gonna travel farther.
And Chrissy, when we first lived here, we just used the taxi. We didn't have it. Popsy came his first 6 months without the tricycle. He left it at home. We just used taxis. CJ wasn't in school yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of differences of living before as the 2 of us, and living now with a house in the mountain and with the family members. We're driving a lot right now. But before, we don't usually go out, so our budget was just for the taxi. And I remember 100. We didn't even use
the whole. It only cost $5 to go the 8 kilometers downtown. Now it might take 30 minutes in traffic, but it's only $5, 220 pesos. And to go to the Uptown Mall from here is about 110 pesos, and back 110. We didn't really use. Now we were working and we were doing YouTube a lot at home, so we didn't go out as much.
We just order chicken and we eat and work again. So
we didn't go out much. Anyway, so now we have 3 vehicles. That's a big expense. Okay, let's move on. So the subtotal for food,
And
restaurants,
transportation.
and gasoline is 67,500 pesos, $1,143 a month. If we just add, we're going to leave the Raptor payment off to the side, but if we just add the housing and utilities and food, we are about 2,300 US dollars per month with just how, but so you could see where if you had half of our food bill and the same housing bill, you'd be at about 1,700 a month.
Yeah.
And with medical and miscellaneous, you could fit in for under 2,500 a month. I just want you to know, you could live in this house, eat the way we eat, have some other medical and miscellaneous and insurance expenses, and you could live here for $2,500 a month. Now we don't, and we'll tell you the rest of what we got going on here. Health and personal. So I've talked about this before. I'm kind of crazy. I'm paying almost $500 a month for my health insurance. $180 comes out of everybody's check when you're on Medicare. Every month comes out of your Social Security. That's $180. I have a really high-end supplemental back in America. Lets me go to any doctor, Mayo Clinic. That's $232 a month with a $250 deductible. I don't recommend it. I almost switched it during open enrollment, Chrissy. I don't know why, but we were doing good consulting business and stuff. I decided to let it ride. Plus, I have a prescription plan for 70 a month. I don't take any prescriptions, and I pay. My peso plan is 5,000 pesos a month. It reimburses me up to $30,000 a year here in the Philippines. It kind of gets you into the hospital because you have an insurance card. That's $5,000 or $85 a month, and that varies based on age. So Medicare is $153. Well, it's actually $180 a month. Peso plan is about $85 a month. My supplementals, $230 a month. And my prescription plan, let's call it $65.70 a month. I have slightly different numbers on my sheet, so we may confuse it. It's not quite exact. Now, toiletries I put down at $2,500 a month. 2,500 pesos a month, $42. Miscellaneous, we're just going to say $100 or $85 a month. That comes to $610 a month.
Yeah.
Almost all of it is my medical insurance.
Yeah, knock on the wood, there's no problem on the medical and the family members. Yeah, maybe the kids goes to the clinic once every 3 months for checkup and all that, but it will only cost 500 pesos for the checkup.
It's $9. Well, I had a flu 3-4 months ago, and the cough stuck around for a little too long. We went to the doctor, $9. He was with me for 25 minutes, prescribed $10 worth of medicine.
And I do my annual checkup for like 3,000 pesos maximum.
$50.
Yeah.
So that comes to $600 plus. Okay, let's talk about household and family. This is where people are going to have some comments. But before you comment, remember Chrissy's sharing some of the load here. So 13,000 pesos a month for household help in this house, not including groceries. And let me make one thing clear. We covered groceries.
Actually, 13,000 pesos for 2 people, right?
For 2 people, yeah. They work hard and they deserve it, and that's part of the package. They get a roof, they get room, and they got the nicest room in the house in a way. Upstairs, they get the one with the best view. We have the master suite downstairs, but they live upstairs, and everything's, all their money can be saved. They don't really have any expenses whatsoever.
Yeah, I would say it's a good trade-off.
Yeah, and then let's talk. CJ goes to private school, says $85 a month. Precious, the same, $85 a month. CJ has a tutor that's $68 every month, 4,000 pesos a month, an hour every school day. Right after school, he walks across the street and he gets tutored for an hour every day. $20 a week, it's like $5 a session, $4 a session. It's not, okay. He is in soccer, that's $1,000 a month.
Yeah, soccer is not $1,000, 1,000 pesos.
1,000 pesos, sorry. In America, it's $1,000. So,
so it's 1,000 pesos a month for the soccer.
Yeah,
and for
$18.
us, it's like really worth it putting him on the soccer.
And boy, he's out of the house from 3:30 to 6. And your father and his wife, they sit there and watch him, and they drive him back and forth. And he comes home tired, and having an almost 7-year-old in the house becomes quite manageable when he's exhausted from soccer.
And you know why it's worth it? Because he really loved it, and he's
starting to play in tournaments.
He's good at it.
Yeah, so we're having some tournaments come around. So anyway, and your brother who just turned 20 money goes to college, and that costs me about $85 a month. But he's not around much. He's out and about all the time, and your sister Mimi helps out a little bit with some pocket money. Yeah, he's invisible. Okay, let's go on to the next. Discretionary.
I'll have to say the total.
Oh, there's subtotal. So that's $33,000. This is for household.
And family.
Household help, CJ School, Precious, CJ's Tutor, CJ Soccer, Dan College, 33,000 pesos every month, 559 US dollars. Okay, next category, discretionary, travel, and admin. I don't know what admin. Okay, so Chrissy needs about $175 a month in pocket money. Hair, nails gifts
lashes.
for lashes. She got to help a cousin here. Lotion. What else? A little clothes. She doesn't shop at the mall. She shops at the thrift store for clothing.
Not now,
Not
because
so much anymore.
We don't have time to
But I've
go
never
there.
seen you buy anything at the mall.
No, I'm buying it on Shopee. Oh, sometimes thrift store online. That's where I get all my clothing.
So $175 is just Chrissy's pocket money. I have donations down here for $42 a month. You know, CJ's school, CJ's soccer team. There's people that miscellaneous donations. You know, in the Philippines,
caretakers of the subdivision, we give them a little bit.
Guards get 1,000 pesos. Each guard gets 1,000 pesos a Christmas. On average per month, $42. Gifts, 3,000 pesos per month. That's
Who are you giving
Well, I
gifts
have
to?
6 grandchildren. They all get. They all have birthdays and holidays, and then there's our own children at Christmas, and family members at Christmas and holidays, and there's some occasional gifts that you'll bring when you visit people, things like that. Repairs, I have $51 a month. Things breaks, especially the bongo truck.
Yeah, I know.
And so you're going to have to budget for replacement of, you have to change the oil and things like that. So there's some repairs you have to do. So $51 per month. Visas, we get what's called a balikbayan visa. Whenever we enter the Philippines together, I get a stamp for 365 days. But it ran out January 23rd, so I had to go pay 3,800 pesos to get a 60-day extension. And occasionally there'll be some other, when we leave the country, there's an exit visa fee of like 3,000 pesos or 2,000 pesos. So I put in $17 a month. Most of you will pay $1 a day plus some background checks and ACR cards. It's about $500 if you're on a tourist visa for the year. And then I have here a travel reserve of 10,000 pesos a month. So that's about $175 a month just put away for Camiguin Island, going to Davao, just popping around and having some travel reserve money. And then I budget 15,000 pesos every month for my annual trip back to the United States. So that's $250 a month. So it's about $3,000. The idea is you've got $1,200 worth of round-trip air, and I have to get to Manila, so it's maybe $1,400 round-trip air. And then I've got to get hotels and rental cars and meals away from, so it's going to be about $3,000 every time I take a trip, and I have one coming up soon. Okay, so that subtotal for discretionary travel and admin, which is set-aside money, 44,500 pesos, $754. It's adding up, Chrissy. We're going to give you the subtotal for our regular monthly budget plus our monthly construction budget coming up here in a sec. So let's talk about the mountain property and what our everyday monthly budget is. Not construction, just monthly.
Yeah, just the basics.
So we have caretakers. Whether it was our family members or whether it was just a caretaker, we wouldn't leave the property vacant. We would have somebody living on the property and maybe not living in the main house, but living there. And so that's 10,000 pesos a month, 169 pesos a month. Now, James is a retired, master craftsperson, a skilled laborer. It would normally cost 1,000 pesos per day for a skilled man. The man who can do the measurements and manage the crew and be in charge of everything, plumbing, tile, electrical. Our deal with James and your mom is that we're going to put them on like a pension. They can retire at that property and they'll have a caretaker pay. When the construction's over, they'll have their regular monthly pay. That's just kind of like a promise. Then donations. We have 2,000 pesos or $34 a month. We just made a donation yesterday, 2,500 pesos. There are indigenous peoples up there, and there's local people who assist us with paperwork and kind of integrating with the community. And occasionally they'll ask for travel money for their jobs, or they'll ask for some small processing money. We'll call it that. Okay, now we give 1,000 pesos every week. 4,000 pesos a month for the laborers to have food.
Yeah, for lunch.
And when you have a caretaker in the mountain, it's going to be about 10,000 pesos a month, but you got to buy them rice, cooking oil, coffee, sugar.
Some basic needs.
Just the basics. You don't have to buy them their fish and protein.
Most importantly is the rice.
Yeah, a bag of rice. A bag of rice is going to be like $25 for a 50-pound bag of rice once a month typically. So there are some additional small food expenses. And then we have fuel. I have $34 a month. We're running a generator to do the welding. We don't want to run the welding through the main house circuits anymore. So we need fuel for the generator. We have a ground pounder needs fuel, and we have a cement mixer and the lawnmower. So we have 2,000 pesos per month, $34. The electric bill on a regular basis is going to run 3,000 pesos per month, or $51. There's no air conditioning. Maybe you could use heat up there, but once the ceiling is put in, I don't think they'll need heat up there at all.
Yeah.
We use electric for microwave, coffee pot,
fridge,
TV. We were using it for welding. I think once we stop the welding, it's going to come down 1,000 pesos a month. So I budget when the family's living there full time, and we're up there all the time on weekends, and 3,000 is a. And then Starlink costs 3,800 pesos per month. That's $64 every month, and we actually share that with your sister, who's next door.
So we split it with her.
All right. So construction-related labor. Let's just go into this more.
Yeah.
A skilled labor would normally cost 1,000 pesos a day, but Uncle James does the skilled labor, and he's part of the family, and he's on that pension we talked about. Semi-skilled and unskilled. A semi-skilled, you're going to pay between 600 to 700 pesos per day, which is about $11 to $13 a day. You're going to provide them lunch and coffee and some bread in addition. And an unskilled is 400 pesos a day, roughly $7 a day, plus their meals while working. They work 6 days a week. That runs 54,000. The mountain property subtotal, $929 per month. So after construction is over, it'll be reduced by about 30,000 pesos, and our monthly run rate in the mountain will be about 25,000 pesos per month. The total for our monthly expenses, okay?
Dun, da, da, da.
All right.
Are you ready?
$6,000 per month, and that includes the Raptor monthly payment. And at the end of 10 months, it'll be gone. So December we'll make our last payment, and that will be back to $5,000 per month. It's right now it's $355,800 per month. And before you put the comment below that says, "Hey, the value of the dollar could crash and you could have a double," it's true.
Yeah.
The dollar is pretty strong against the peso. It's not too strong against the euro, but right now 59 it's been averaging the last month or two. But it can change, and these dollars can increase if the value of the peso goes up. Now, what are we spending on construction materials on average? If we don't have the money, we don't spend it. But for the last 3-4 months, we've been spending on average 150,000 pesos
for the construction materials.
During
those months, we average
$8,573 a month.
Isn't it crazy?
So that's for the last 3 months.
Now, we revealed our monthly budget.
We revealed
I know
everything.
There's a lot of people that, because me myself was shocked when I saw this, because you will never really feel it if you don't total all the expenses that you do. It's just like, oh, 10,000 here, 10,000 there. Oh, there's some schools, food, and everything. But once you total all the money in a month, it's crazy big, and it will just like penetrate into your mind, like, oh my God, we're spending this much. But here's the bottom line. Foreigners, a lot of foreigners will come here in the Philippines because it's
cheaper.
You should watch your money because it might be very cheap here, but things add up so quick.
We're fortunate because we launched this YouTube channel, and thank you for your support. And we do this consulting, and we wrote a book, 2 books. And by the way, If you would like a free copy of our newest book, A Western Man's Guide to Dating in Asia and the Philippines, all the lessons, and every chapter has Chrissy's tips. So Chrissy's the co-author. In every chapter, you have Rob's tips and Chrissy's tips. If you're interested in a Big Brother, Little Sister consultation program, there's a link in the description, or just write us at flymetothephilippines@gmail.com.
Yes, and if you're dating a Filipina and you really wanted to know her background without a bias, because if you're the one who's gonna do it, you're gonna be a little bit biased inside here. So let me do it. It's gonna be moral and ethical background investigation.
And don't forget, our best-selling 300-page travel book is available on Amazon.com. It was #1 in Philippines travel for the better part of a year. It's still in the top 10.
Comment down below what's your ideal budget in the Philippines and what is your current budget if you are already here in the Philippines.
And if you were to take one thing out of my budget, one thing I could save money on, what would it be? Tell me where I should save money and what I'm doing wrong.
Comment down below.
Till next time.
Only here from Fly Me to the Philippines.